Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Kat. I am owner of KatsCreationsNMore, and today we're going to make a wreath that is specifically designed for those with no chimneys. And I know you're probably thinking to yourself, what kind of design would that look like? Well, I can't wait to show you, but I'm going to hold here just for a moment. Let me just make sure that I have confirmed we're all still in the good place. Let me just double check. I think we're there. Let me look. I think this one is good. Let me double check real quick. Give me just 1 second. Ugh, my mouse is just way too sensitive for what I'm doing. Let's see. Hang on just 1 second. Okay, come on. I think I'm there. Try this real quick. I'm using my husband's computer today, so just bear with me 1 second. Oop. There we go. There. No, that did not work. That's not what I wanted. Okay, off you go. What the heck? Okay, went and grabbed the wrong one. Hang on. Okay. I'm like, what the heck happened to my thing? Okay, can we get there? I think I have it now. His computer's just, you know how it is when you get used to your own stuff. Let me go ahead and put this in here. A wreath for those. And give me a second. Okay, come on. His keys are super sensitive. So I think that one is done. Let me just double check Facebook, refresh the page, and then I'll enable chat. When I say by enable chat, it just means that I can see both groups at the same time. Hello, Shante. Hi, Twyla. Hi, Georgiana. Hi, Rosie. Hi, Nellie. Welcome. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Before we get too far, if you want to save a copy of this tutorial and you are on YouTube, which it looks like most of you are, just click the save button and this will go ahead and save the video so you have it handy. If you are on Facebook and you want to save a copy, you want to hit the share button. The share button does a quick copy paste from my page to your page. Just remember you need to download it within 30 days or it's gone. And then you'll have to just go back to YouTube and grab it from there. Ways that you can help me as viewers: comment, click emojis, share the page, subscribe to my channel. All those things are huge, and the more we do it during the tutorial, the more the social media platforms will share that with a wider audience. So people who may not know me will find me based on what you guys do here today. So with that being said, let me give you one other bit of information. Let's type this in because the software that I'm using doesn't allow me to like preload certain things. So I have linked my website down below if you are interested in purchasing this design. It'll be up later today for sale. Also, for those of you that may not follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or Pinterest, I am putting all of my Halloween home decor, bows, lantern swags, mailbox swags, wreaths. They're all at 50% off. So you can find them either on my Etsy shop or my website, because I am not going to make Halloween next year. So I'm just going to move through that section. So if you want something This is a really good time because you will never get wreaths this low. So check those out, see if there's anything you want. I mean, you could totally get a whole look from your mailbox flag to your bows, to your wreath, to your lantern swags, everything. But that is that. Hi, Renee. Welcome. Hi, Linda. Hi, Marisol. I haven't seen you in a long, long time. Okay, pivoting you down. There we go. Because I've stalled enough. Okay, right down to the bottom. So we are doing, obviously, Christmas theme, red, white, and green. We are using a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. Let's go ahead and finish wiring this one up really quick. So I am just alternating my colors here. Trying to grab my last 3 pipe cleaners. So I've done the first 5 sections. We're going to do this last one together, which is exactly how I did the other 5. You are going to wire together the 2 inside closest to the middle rings with a pipe cleaner, and that helps give your pipe cleaner stability so they don't wobble, they don't move. And then we are going to go to the outside using this and the weld mark and kind of find a halfway point to wire together the outside 2, just like that. And then we're going to do one over here. Alrighty, are we there? I'm trying to make sure that I have them evenly spaced, because it's great if you can get the full length. Like this one obviously is a tad short. Let's see if I can even that up. I thought I had them. Maybe it's just how I twisted it. Okay, more even. Okay, 6 on the inside, 12 to the outside. We're going to be removing the 6 on the inside for our design. So we are using, this is a different kind of mesh this year. This is a wide foil. It is a matte finish, which means it doesn't have the shiny reflective part, but it still has the wide foil. So it's got a little bit of a shimmer, but not like over the top. We are doing these in 20-inch pieces. We're going to go around and do all of them, and I'm going to do the next method, which means I'm going to start here, and then whatever pipe cleaner comes next is where I'm going to add a piece of my Deco mesh. So I'm going to pull these towards me in about 1/2 inch increments. These are all cut with a wood burning tool, 20 inches. We are laying the first one in, and that is finished edges towards the middle. Going to give it a couple twists, and then we're going to remove the excess. Going to tuck this down to the inside, and our first one's there. I'm not going to worry about fluffing just yet. So again, how to make a ruffle. Imagine an invisible line right up the center. I am going with the curl. So I am placing them curl side down. So as I'm gathering, I'm pulling those together. Just pulling them so they make like little organized little pleats, just like this. And this one's going to go right next to our center. And these 12, I'm going to leave the pipe cleaners in place. So at this stage, because I finished my middle one, I want to make sure that I've extended my middle piece there, and that I've also extended it here for full coverage. And that's all the middle piece really does. It helps fill the middle, but it also fills between the 2 pipe cleaners here. This middle is a gap filler. Okay, now notice that in between here we have no gap filler. That's okay. So this is what I'm going to be working on next, which is I'm technically moving into my next section, which is right here. I want to make sure that I take my Deco mesh and I'm going to lay it right over the top of my pipe cleaner and right underneath. That way it's going to give me coverage in that section. And again, they're going to just lay one right on top of the other. And the reason I'm so precise on gathering my ruffles is because I want that little wave effect happening. Okay, right over the top. Just 2 full twists. And I can go ahead and do one side so you can see that I have access to both of them. I'm not going to worry about fluffing this one because I've got to get that inside piece in first. So have you guys thought about what ends up happening to people who don't have chimneys for the holidays? How do they decorate? Like, they don't have a mantle, so they can't really put stockings up on the mantle like we would think. So there's always that unique thing of what do you do when you don't have a fireplace or a chimney? Okay. So again, I'm going to open this up just below where I've added my left side piece. I'm going to take this. I'm going to go ahead and tuck that under, which is why some of the time I just do all the inside ones so that I can come back in and lay all my outside pieces directly on top. Here's the last piece going into this section. Hi Elizabeth, welcome. We were talking about you. We miss you in our Bible study. Cheryl and I were talking yesterday. Said we miss Elizabeth. Okay, gonna go ahead and plop this one right over the center. 2 complete twists. Okay, just like so. And so we finished up that full section. So from here, we're moving into our next one. So make sure that your deco mesh is just above, just below the next pipe cleaner. Oh, that's interesting, Cheryl. She says, I've seen people hang stockings on a staircase or the wall. Yeah, because some people who live in apartments, they might not have chimneys. So staircase would be good if they have a staircase. Okay, this one's going to go right in, right over the top. Remember, we're not going to fluff out the right-hand side of this one because we've got to get our centerpiece in. But we can go ahead and do this one. Let's go ahead and make sure this one's pulled free. Pulled forward so I can find it. I'm trying to think. I know that there are some times where we didn't have a fireplace. What did we do? I think growing up as a kid, all my parents had a fireplace. I'm trying to think if there was ever a time that I can recall that I didn't. I am really trying to think. Okay, I know for a fact, yeah, when my youngest was born, our house did not have a chimney. I think we had a wood stove. So we just did wood stove stuff. Oh, your kitchen island. That is a great idea too, Shantae. I never thought of that. Oh, I like that idea, Cheryl. She says you can hang them on your child's bedposts. That is a classic idea. As long as our kids are deep sleepers, right? That would be cute. I know there's some people who take the stockings down and they don't bring the stockings out until Christmas morning. And then wherever they have all that stuff, it just becomes part of an additional, almost like gift that they would open. Did you guys always open your stocking? Did you guys always do stockings first? We did with my mom. It was always stockings first. Well, I think we did stockings while I think my mom was getting coffee. Oh, that's true, Renee. She said, I think they make special stands now to hang stockings. That's an idea. I've seen people now who, that are very crafty that will build like a stocking stand. And they bring that out during the holidays and put those in. And they hang all the stockings on. I think I knew somebody who actually bought one. The things they come out with now. Oh, apples and oranges and nuts. My mom used to tell us about that because we always ask my mom, what'd you get? Yeah, because we always got candy canes, lifesaver books, chocolate covered cherries. My brother and I were both into Hot Wheels, so he's got new Hot Wheels. We got a little car. I still love doing that, though. I still love doing it for my kids. Although now it's more practical things. Socks. I'm trying to think. Socks. What else? Lip gloss. We always do lifesaver books. We always do chocolate covered cherries because my girls love them. Candy canes. We didn't have candy canes with all the fancy flavors that they do now. Our candy canes were peppermint. Baby, you got wintergreen. Oh, hang them from a bookshelf. I like that idea too. That is another idea. I know there's some people who make their own. They go out and they get like that chimney kit that goes on the wall. And they make a chimney, which I think is adorable. Because then it gets the whole family involved in making one. Okay, so now I want to open up my inside piece a little bit to make sure it goes completely underneath. Got my two here. Moving into that section. One above, one below. Gonna push that off to the side. I'm trying to think, what else did we get in our stockings? Might have to call my brother. We like to reminisce about Christmases from, like, because I grew up mid-60s, early 70s. So that kind of tells you what we had available. I swear I want to do a total retro wreath with bubble lights. Oh, thanks, Charlotte. They're so happy you came across my live. Thank you. Was I live on Tuesday? No, Elizabeth. It was Steve's final series. He's getting injections on his knee where they kind of inject a gel into your knee. It's like this new treatment for people who have bone on bone with their knees in hopes that they can avoid knee surgery, knee replacement surgery, at least for now. So it was his last round. So I wanted to make sure. The first one didn't go very well. It was very painful. Second one was extraordinarily painful for him. And so I was like, I'll be there. He's like, I think I can make it. I could drive. I was like, I'll just go. Because sometimes he can't bend his knee right away. So I'm like, it's just easier. I'll just drive, yeah. Charlotte, he is, well, he's been doing a lot of work in the backyard, going up and down ladders. I think he's doing really well, honestly, because before this, he wouldn't have done it at all, going up and down ladders. He would have been down and said, like, can't do it. So he's been able to do that, and he's got a pretty... That's how I can tell he's doing really well, because his work schedule is very aggressive. He's trying to get... I asked... We've been in our house for 3 years, and I wanted a pergola built in our backyard. So he's been working on that. And so I've never seen him where he won't just stop. This is like, no, I just want to get the project finished. She says, I hope it works. My son just had knee surgery and needs the other one done. Yeah, that's going to be him if this does not work. So we'll see. I'm praying about it and just kind of leaving it up to God and saying, hey, you know, if you want him to do this, we will do it and just move through it. He does not want it because he's heard so many horror stories of people who have had surgery and wish that they didn't. And so he's having to make that hard decision. But as like, if you want your mobility back, you had the chicken stuff injected in his knee? Oh, okay, so what is the procedure called, Charlotte? Or what is the stuff they're injecting in his knee? All I know is it's some sort of type of, it's a liquid that our bodies produce naturally. And so they inject it into the knee in hopes that it will kind of graft into the knee and almost make the cartilage again, I guess. It's funny, I haven't talked to his doctor because he doesn't like me to go in with him, so I haven't been able to really ask. I usually just text him questions to ask his doctor before he goes in. And I know he has the name of exactly what it is because somebody else asked me that question, but I don't know it off the top of my head. Timor. And they don't inject an awful lot. They only inject like 2 cc's of it, but you have to go every week for 3 weeks. So, but what I will say is when they did this last time, he was really, really impressed. His doctor was not the one to do it. It was their PA. And he said she was amazing. He's like, felt no pain. No, nothing. I'm good. Matter of fact, he even came home and went right back to work. So I was like, okay, well, there's that. Okay, last piece. This is always the tough one because we've got to like clear room for this. What is the chicken stuff? Right, Charlotte? Said it's amazing the things they can do. Yeah, now, right? It's just so hard for the average consumer to know because you get inundated with tons of ads on your phone. You know, based on random conversations you have, all of a sudden ads show up for like things to help you with knee pain or inflammation. And you're like, where'd this come from? So it's like, does that stuff even work? Does it not work? Is it just random sales stuff? So again, maneuvering those around so we get complete coverage. So this is coverage, 18 pieces, 1 full roll of Deco mesh. And so let me show you the sign that we're going to use and the design kind of thought behind it. So we are using this 8x10 sign, which is from Pam. I personalized it by Pam because I love vintage Santa. So this is Santa, and then what I'm going to add to it is this, which is called a Magic Santa Key. And it says, our house has no chimney, but we do have a door, and that's what this Magic Santa Key is for. And there is a key with a candy cane striped bow on it. So Santa has a special key that he can use on Christmas night to bring in gifts for kids who don't have an actual door. So that answers the question for a kid who says, I don't have a chimney. Well, you have a magic key. So Santa's able to come in using the magic key. So we're going to be adding that. We'll be adding a bow, but before we start that, we are going to add in our ribbon tails and half bows. So because we have such a prominent red base, and the only reason I went with that is because when I popped green behind it, I didn't like it. When I did white behind it, didn't like it. So I think this is really pulling a lot of the reds here and here, because the sign is mostly, if you think about it, it's mostly white. So if you like the sign, Personalize It by Pam on Etsy is where you can get that. Charlotte, she said, my theme this year, Santa, you love the message of the key. And I think they have the keys just about everywhere. I actually got that from a little mountain mercantile. Oh, it's probably like 6 years ago. So I've had it, and I came across it when I was organizing some stuff, and I was like, oh, we should try to throw this in. Ribbon combinations. 1.5 are all cut to 19 inches. 2.5 inches are all cut to 14 inches. We're adding the holly with this Merry Christmas Y'all ribbon. So there's those two, both of them from, I want to say Craft Outlet, but let me double check. Craft Outlet, yes. And then we're adding the Santa belt, which is also from Craft Outlet, with the green glitter with the white and red Swiss dot border. This is from Costco. This is from Craft Outlet. So those are the combinations. We're going to go around and pop these in all the way around the outside. Just mixing the two. So the tails go in first. And then, because Santa has some holly in his hat, I went with the holly here. We're going to take our 1.5, bring them together, go up about 2 inches and pinch in. I'm going to plop that right in the center. Couple twists, twists, twists. And then I'm going to open this. I'm going to cut these down because we are going to be adding some glitter balls to the ends in red, white, and blue, red, white, and green. So I'm going to always right side one portion of my ribbon tails. So I've cut them down to about 1 inch. And then we're going to take these styrofoam balls and we will start with red and dot of glue. Slide that right on my little end of my pipe cleaner. And grab a little white one. Dot of glue. Again, slide that right on the end. Because then it's like, okay, that's the reason why the pipe cleaners are there. They have a purpose. Plus they look super cute. So there's the first pairing. Let's see, these will sit over here for now. Okay. Next one, Santa belt. I enjoy watching you so much, but can't wait to see this finished. Me either, because I was like, it's a pretty aggressive goal to try to squeeze all of that in. And so that's the fun part, is seeing it all come to life. So in goes the Santa belt. Same thing with our 1.5 ribbon. We're going to make our half bows, squish it in, place this right on the inside, couple twists. We're going to make sure those are no longer than about 1.5 inches. Open the top, right side. For me, it's always the left side of my ribbon. I like to try to get in way under there and twist that back. Just like this. So I'm popping a lot of green because we have such a red base. And let's go with a big red green. I'm going to be like mixing these up. And let's do a small red. And you can get your little glitter balls or sequin balls at Hobby Lobby. in their seasonal section right now. If you're looking for a just particular color, you can look back in their party supplies, and that's where they'll have like just singular colors like baby blue or yellow. So check them both. Also Dollar Trees, I saw a couple years ago they started carrying them. So you might even find those at the Dollar Tree. And they're called everything from vase fillers to scatters and fillers to glitter balls. And I think that's it for the white disappears with the white ribbon. Maybe double red balls on the white. They're going to automatically like change because we're doing 3 different colors. So eventually you'll see that on one of the whites, it won't be, I was trying to go red, white, green, red, white, green, red, white, green. It'll get there at some point. I guess I could have done that. I could have done red or I could have done double red. I made them look more like holly. I'm going to slide. I want the green predominantly on the top. So let's do a large white. And then we'll do a small green. Okay, there's that. Small green. Trying to be really careful to not let that glue, you know, touch. See, sometimes you lose the green in it too. But it should all get there. It should all get there sooner or later. Just want Santa's belt buckles to stick out. Okay, moving on. All right, so I always take my ribbon when I'm doing my tails and fold it in half so that we know right where the middle portion of our ribbon is. This way we have even lengths on our tails as we pull those out. Again, right at 2 inches, pinch those together. And open that up. And we'll flip those around. Take that one down. And now we're doing red, big red. And big white. Nope, little white. Little white. And sometimes you get 3 different sizes. You get like a small, medium, and large. So you can just vary. You can do them all one size. However you want to design that is going to be entirely up to you. Hi, Michelle. The Santa belt ribbon is from Craft Outlet. Not sure that they have it again. I noticed that a lot of the ribbon is going away. Ribbon that I used to see a lot of, I'm not finding it anymore. Like I was sharing that, what did we do? The Oh Holy Night that I did behind me. There is no more Oh Holy Night ribbon. It used to be. Hobby Lobby carried it. Craft Outlet carried it. Now no one carries it. So now all you get is just a nativity stamped ribbon. And I've like pulled out all of my source stuff that I've done. Like people I know that used to have stuff when everybody else was out. Nope, not no more. So the wreath on the door behind me, which is Oh Holy Night, it is the last that I will be able to make with that ribbon. because it doesn't exist anymore. A lot of that ribbon now is discontinued, not available. Which also helps when you tell your customers and clients that you don't, you only do one of each wreath. It's because we just never know when things will go discontinued. And we can't always find what we're looking for. It's not available anymore. Manufacturers aren't carrying it. Just trying to make sure that I can try to see everything as I'm going around. Could we see the wreath? The one on the back of the door? It will when I go, when we get ready to hang this one on the door, I'll show you the other one. Because otherwise it's up and down with the camera. And I try really hard not to make people sick. Okay, there's that. Couple twists. I think I'm halfway officially now with these. And I'm trying to do double work. A lot of times when you're following people who are making wreaths, they'll go all the way around the outside and they'll add like their outside ribbon, and then they'll go in and they'll add their interior ribbon, and then they'll go around and add the balls. I'm like, well, we could just take care of that really super quick right here. We are going large white, and then it'll be large green or small green. So that one is here. Yeah, the Santa ribbon is super cute. It's good also if you're making a wreath and you need a belt, like a Santa's belt, because you can use the ribbon in lieu of that. And there's that. Okay. There we go. And it's first, when I opened this ribbon, I thought it just said Merry Christmas, period. But it actually says Merry Christmas, y'all. And no matter which way I measured it, I couldn't get Merry Christmas to all be like together unless I wanted to go through and really butcher up a good roll of ribbon. Then I could probably get it to say Merry and then Christmas. That's a waste of a lot of ribbon. Okay. Up. Over. Trying to get them all set up. Okay. There's that one. And now we're doing large red. Large red and then large white. Nope, small white. There we go. There's that one. Small white. Okay. Sometimes they just need to get some readjustments. Definitely feels very Santa-like. Just looking at the ribbons that are going around, it's like, ooh, that definitely feels very Santa-like. Okay. Wait till you see the other ribbon I have that's going to go in the bow. And this is making me sad because this used to be the way ribbon was every single year. It was like a competition to see who would come up with the most amazing ribbon. And now it seems like ribbon is just going the way of being more generic, meaning you could use it for a multitude of different things. It doesn't necessarily have to have Christmas on it in order for it to work, which is really sad. Because like Christmas ribbon should say Christmas. I don't want to just put red, white, and green ribbon on a wreath, I want to be able to add to the theme with the ribbon that we put on there. Okay. Walmart has gorgeous cornflower blue winter ribbon they just came out with, and matching solid blue ribbon. Ooh, nice. I haven't been over to Walmart in a long time. Do I think it's because of the tariffs? No. I think COVID really decimated supply chains. I don't think that they ever bounce back, because we would have seen that throughout, and I've noticed that ever since COVID, everything became very generic. You didn't have like patterned ribbon that was theme specific, like reindeer ribbon or Christmas package ribbon, or it's all just becoming really very generic. I don't think that the tariffs will have much of an impact, because there's still going to be people who want to purchase it. They're just going to have to get creative on where they get it and who they're buying it through, because people are still going to have a need. White, and we want big white and then big green. That's just me personally. What I've noticed is I haven't seen it bounce back. With COVID, it was like, okay, all the supply chains came to a grinding halt. Nobody was ordering anything. A lot of people were still purchasing online though, but it seemed like at that point, everything just went generic. Is Walmart ribbon in-store only? Janet asked. I don't know. If somebody wants to go right now and look and type in walmart.com and put Christmas ribbon, see if anything comes up. Even Hobby Lobby this year just went way generic. There's a couple themed items, but for me it's more trendy. So the likelihood of me using it more than one season is probably non-existent. Like, I think they've had a lot of pink ribbon, like a lot of pink themed Christmas ribbon. You know, people who are doing like the pink nutcracker, or like a Christmas candy kind of wreath. That would appeal to those folks. Okay, we're doing big red and then small white. And you could have even added jingle bells. Now that I think about it, that would have been a really nice touch. We could have at least not put them on every single one, but maybe, who knows, maybe we'll add those. I have them fairly close, so we might want to add those in. That would be super cute. See, sometimes you just, like when I'm out designing and I'm not doing it live, it's really easy for me to sit here and just, okay, we lay in the base color, then I go wander around and I look for the ribbon, and I can come back with a handful of it and just try a little bit at a time till I find something that really pops. When you're doing a live, it's like you've got to commit. You got to put your design together. And hopefully it comes out good. Sometimes it comes out better than you thought. I think there's only been 1 or 2 times where I've done a live and then afterwards I give it a second look and I'm like, not really happy about something on that. And then I've gone in and tweaked it and added something that looked a little bit better because I was able to give it a little bit more thought. But like for me on this one, the design piece was the sign. I was like, I definitely knew I wanted a Santa sign. And then while I was looking through my sign bin, I came across the magic key and I was like, ooh, I wonder if we can get these both on. And then that is an option for people who don't have chimneys. And then they can walk their kids through the magic key. Okay, last one going in. See, I would even love nutcracker ribbon that looks like the patterns that are on the nutcrackers. But even some of the nutcrackers now are going the way of trendy and not traditional. Because if you think about it, when you go to Sam's Club or Costco, you have the golds, right? There's probably 5 different kinds of gold ribbon, 5 different kinds of silver ribbon, probably 3 different types of red, same thing with green. Then they start, you know, mixing red and white like candy cane stripe. Then they get into some just generic, like it might have pine trees on it. But it doesn't, it's not like this where it's like definitely Christmas ribbon. Like this is definitely Santa built. It doesn't, you can't interpret that any other way. Okay, we're doing small green. Where'd you go? There you go. Okay. All right. Those have all popped. And then we're going to make the bow, because then I've got to figure out how am I going to get it all in there. So let me put these on. Let me look at sizing. So looking at our sign, we'll have our bow, because I know I want to take advantage of this space here to tuck in our magic key. And I want to, and it's kind of cool because it's a metal key and it says Santa on it, so it's kind of cute. And I want to make sure that this kind of tucks in here on the side so that you can kind of see that with a bow. So I'm thinking maybe the bow might go here, but I think we should be able to squeeze it all in. I'm hoping. So let's make the bow, and then we'll see how everything else goes. Ooh, beet dough. What is that, Cheryl? I have never heard of that. See, Hobby Lobby has a lot of pink and Candyland stuff, right? Okay. Here's the ribbon we've had. So we're going to do green first, then red. And this one here is the Costco ribbon, which is always so nice. You get 50 yards for like $8. So how can you not go wrong with that? Other ones I'm bringing in is red, white, and green. Again, keeping that focus on the green because we have so much red base. So I'm thinking that's going to probably go in here. And then we have this. And then we have Santa face. This might still be available at Hobby Lobby. This was Hobby Lobby's last year, I think. So it's Santa's face going either way. It's similar because this Santa also has a candy cane, just like the Santa here has a candy cane. So they kind of match a little bit. So Santa with candy cane, oops, and Santa with candy cane. So they might still have this. So that's the order we're going to put those together. I'm just going to push them all forward so I know which order I have. So we're going to do dovetail end. So that's bringing our wired edges together however high up on that fold you come, our destination point never changes. It's always right here at the end of our wired ribbon. So we go from the fold to the wired point. I like mine to have a fairly noticeable V because I like to be able to see it. And this is horizontal ribbon, so this means that we can make this pattern stay the same all the way through. So we're going to go 10 inches in, we're going to gather, and we're going to twist. I'm using my Bodabra. We're going to place that on the inside. I'm going to go up and around, and I'm looking for 5.5 inches. So I'm going to take the center of my Bodabra. I can bring it on like the 20-inch line so that when I stretch this out, I should be at 14.5, which is 5.5 inches here. It's a little bit long, so I'm going to bring it back. But if you notice, here's the way this is going, and now this is upside down. Super easy way to fix it is, there's always like one way I twisted it. Twisted it this way. Okay, so I'm going to do it here, and we're going to twist it back in the same direction. So there we go. Now our ribbon orientation is the same. Here, when I bring this one up and over, it's all the same. So it's only this one side that gets kind of a little upside down. So again, gonna make sure I bring that all the way out, and then I like to do it down here on the 10 so I can stretch my ribbon out farther to the 20-inch line, and put a nice dovetail cut on that so it's a nice finished look. I just have always gone through my assembling of my ribbon the same way. So I always dovetail. There's some people who dovetail all at the end. It's whatever is most comfortable for you. Here we go with Santa's belt. Again, dovetail in. Right over here. Okay. Such a nice belt to cut off. Doing the same thing at 9.5 inches now, but only 5-inch loops. So there's that. Up and around. I'm going to just double check my measurement. And I'm right there at 5 inches. Got to go around the other time, Kat, before you just end it. Let's see. I always it's like the game I play every single time is how close can I get to being accurate on my measurements with a guess. And this is going to be 9.5. Dovetail the end. That one's all done. My pin is crooked. Okay. Now we are going to take this one, which is there we go. A little ball came off the end. This is from 5th Street Studios. For this would be an example of the generic pattern, which is, yes, it's still a Christmas palette, but I could use this for a ton of other things as well. I could make this a watermelon wreath. It would work. So we're going 9 inches. And then we're going to go 4.5-inch loops. So up. Uh-oh. Might not be using this one. Let me see if I have another one, because I know we are not going to have enough. Okay, let me look. I walked the long way. Red, white, and let's see. have another one. I'm not seeing it. But we need green, I believe. Okay. I have a couple other options. But nope, all out of that ribbon too. Okay. So we need something that is predominantly green, so we can go green with snowflakes. I grabbed this one, I don't know why, but I need it more green. We can pop in a green velvet, or we can pop in the red, just like what I'd call like candy print. And I'm trying to think now, looking at my color palette. It's going to be close. It's either going to be, see, like these two are a little too close together. This is what I'm doing, pairing those next to each other. This is what this does, but then we're pairing it right next to this, which works, but I think I'm going to go with this one, believe it or not, because I like the way these all lay together. So I think that's the look over the others. So that's what I'm doing. Boy, that's going to be fun in the years to come. Trying to get all that Christmas ribbon back. But it happens. I thought I had more on there than what there was. Maybe I didn't look. Okay, looking. Hi, Pam. Thanks for joining. Okay, so now we're going 9 inches. Oh, nice. One of your grandsons wants to go to culinary school. Love that. I'd be like, you can come over here and cook for me anytime. You can experiment. So 4.5 inches is our ribbon length. And the only reason I went with this color is because Santa has a candy cane. So I kind of like this look, that it's not just peppermint like candy cane, but it could be also the green, like the winter green kind. And then back out 9 inches. And this ribbon is from Kringle Designs, Kringle, which is funny. We're making a Santa wreath, and the ribbon's from Kringle. KringleDesigns.us. Okay, don't want to mix up any of the others. Now we're going to do our, man, a lot of these ribbons are getting low, which is good. It means I'm finally getting through them. But it also means, Kat, you need to replace them. So this will be 8.5. So is everyone coming over to your house, Cheryl? Wouldn't that be fun? That would be fun. Because you're pretty centrally located, right, Cheryl? You could have a big craft day at your house. You can do Christmas crafts. Okay, so because I've already done the measurement on the bottom, all I had to do is take my fingers and put them in both ribbons loops and pull so that I could measure the bottom one the same as the top. Okay, that one is done. And now, it's funny because I always forget to check the top of my racks that have ribbon on it, because that's where the big rolls of ribbon are. And I never look up there. So this one's going to be 8 inches for the tail, but it's only going to be 4 inches for the loop. So Costco and Sam's ribbon's really good for practicing your bows, because the ribbon's very inexpensive, so you can practice a bunch before you like invest in more expensive ribbon. Okay, bring that back over, making sure I'm at 4 inches, and then back out to my 8. Square that up correct. Alrighty. There's that one. And now we do Santa face. Now Santa face, you have to be really super careful, because Santa face can split quickly because he is a fused ribbon made up of a couple, and there's already like little imperfections where the wire's kind of coming out. So this is where your wire is right alongside these little gold threads, and they're just kind of pressed in place. So I always like to try to make sure I keep those in. I think this was probably just a defective roll, because it's like every so often I can see that popping through. So we'll dovetail the end. We just have to be really careful on how we fluff it. So we're doing 7.5 inches, twisting, and then I'm going to go up and over. And Santa's, this is not a horizontal pattern because he goes either direction. So I need to make sure we're at 3.5 inches, which I've got there. And I'm going to do here. A little bit more. There we go. And then back out to 7.5. There we go. A little bit long, but we'll fix it. There we go. Okay, so again, like I said, you have to be really careful, because with this ribbon, this is what I'm going to say, is when you go to fluff, sometimes you're like that, and you're like, oh, what? So like one side's fairly good, but it's not glued. It's just kind of like embossed in with the wire underneath. So you have to be super, super careful when you're going to do your fluff, that you don't tear him. So while the ribbon looks pretty, you have to be careful not to rip Santa. Okay. Pipe cleaner, we want, what color? Let's do red. So red, bending that to a U. This makes it super easy. And we're going to drop that down over the top. I'm going to twist it at the bottom and then twist the entire stack the opposite way. So we've got a good twist. And then we are going to bring the fluff board over. And since this one's going to go in the top, it's not going to be a bottom facing bow. So I'm going to twist this through, hook my ribbon here, and we're going to start at the bottom, and I'm going to move my tail to the left, the loop to the right. Go over to the bottom stack and do opposites. So loop to the left, tail to the right. Now I have my C-hook it's a challenge to get them all to look perfect across, but you can still see the pattern developing. So now we go tail to the right, loop to the left, Do the opposite here. So you're going to see that the tails stagger, so do the loops all the way through. Okay, next one down, we're following the green. So just follow your green all the way down. Go over here and bring that here, and the tail over here. And now we're going to follow Santa's belt with the next one down, which is here. And then this is going to go here. We're going to bring this way over here. And the loop right on top. The next one, we are going to go right here with our peppermints. And then right over here, same thing. Bring them opposite. Careful with this ribbon. We're going to bring that in. And then right over here. Okay. So that goes there. This goes there. These are split. Here's all the tails. So now when we bring them up, be careful with your one. But there's your two. I like to do a little crisscross. Trying to get my wire back in there. There we go. So then I can open that and he'll stay open. Okay. Here, same thing. Decide which pattern you want where. I think I kind of like the stripe in between, actually. And then over here, bring this one down. Bring that open. Open. And then the bottom. I'm going to do, trying to get my loops open, bring those there, and then this is going to come over here, over here, there we go. And then as we bring our ribbon through, we're going to be really careful with my top one, but I'm just going to pull that through here. You won't notice it so much on the bottom ribbons because they're sitting flush on the board. And then you can just mix and match towards whatever you want. I like to make sure I can see all the ribbon, so all the pieces all brought out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. So there's the ribbon that's going to go on. So I'm going to pop this off, opposite the way I popped it back on. We're going to go ahead and prep our sign. So move this. So, adding a business card to the back, really super simple. Just like so. It helps customers who misplace their business cards with their order. They might not keep them. You know, we all misplace things. So I think down here at the bottom, I might just go top and bottom here. I think that's what I'll do. Because if I do corner to corner, we could get a weird wobble. So I'm going to go right here at the top. And right here at the bottom. I'm going to use floral wire for this. You could use a pipe cleaner. It would still fit. That is a 1.5 millimeter metal hole punch. And floral wire, I use the 22 gauge. We're going to pull out I probably think it is about 14 inches. That's about what this feels like. And then we're going to go ahead and add the wire to our sign. Oops. Placing that right in the hole. Just making sure you've got equal lengths. And then go ahead and build your twist right over the hole. Okay. We'll do the same on this side. And we might even do what I showed my private group, which is what we did on the Old Holy Night for our bow. It's an option. Let me look, see if we can do that. We might do that. Okay, so I'm going to center Santa in here. Let me look at my bow. Will that work? I'm thinking. Hang on a sec. I'm trying to get him situated. We might be able to do it. It might be a little too heavy. Let me see. Let me go ahead and attach Santa, and then I'll show you what I'm thinking of. So I'm going to pull back my Deco mesh for that center. So I'm grabbing one of the ones that I used for my inside 6. And I always like to just pull my Deco mesh through. And I'm going to move this straight down. I don't want to go too deep. So I'm just going to crisscross it once. And I'm going to bring this one up. Here's my other pipe cleaner, exactly where I would expect it to be. And now I'm going to go right through my mesh. And go ahead and grab this side. Okay. And I'm going to leave this one under right here because I want to put my bow in this upper corner, just so that we don't impact the sign too much. So like up in here. So bow will go here. So I'm not going to fluff my Deco mesh just yet because we're going to also add our magic key. So let me go ahead and remove all the labels off the back. Trying to get that all off. You can tell how old I've had it by how hard it is to get the label off. I think we'll be okay. So I don't want to carve into the sign, I just want to remove the label. There we go. Good enough. Okay, so I want to make sure the key is positioned fairly good so that the peppermint ribbon looks peppermint. We actually see that, and so you can actually read everything on the sign. I'm not going to pull that out, but I do want to make sure that we have it facing in the right way. Meaning, here's the loop. You can totally tell when they did their bow. They didn't center their bow on their key. Oop, don't want to pull that one down too far. So we can slide that under. Okay. Pull it out just a bit. I'm going to place this. Let's see, how do we want this to go? I don't want it to be like this with just a key off to the side, although we can pull this all the way off and just kind of position it off to the end so that you can read what it says. Like so. I am going to, because this is definitely way too thin for a, whatchamacallit, way too thin for a pipe cleaner, but I definitely want it. I have to use an adhesive, which I don't like to do. I really don't like to do it. So I'm going to use triple strength. Okay, so if I want this here with the key off to the side, I'm going to fasten this down here towards the bottom a bit. Right here. I'm going to add hot glue to the outside because I don't want this to come off. We will use, where is my red pipe cleaner. Right in here. Because you guys know me, I never want anything to become so permanent that people can't take it off. Like if somebody wanted to take this off and just keep that, they could. So now, I'm going to pull this forward. I'm going to tuck this Deco mesh underneath so that I now have a smooth spot. And we're going to go right here at the bottom of the corner. Let's get our glue off the pipe cleaner. Okay, there's that one. And I'm kind of trying to angle this so that it fits right over the corner. Let's pull this ribbon down. Okay, I have to think about this now because I can secure the bottom. I'm going to have to run something up in the upper corner as well, just to help hold it flat. And then that can sit there. That can sit there. The key's going to kind of drift over the side. Let's see if we can do it with a small piece of floral wire. Because I don't want it to show. I'm so picky about it not showing anywhere. Okay, so I'm going to take this down. Let's see, it's going to show a little bit. But I need to get, I wasn't thinking when I put this in that it's going to just be corner heavy on one side. And so now, trying to make sure I can get, where's my floral wire going? Hang on just 1 second. There we go. I've got it. Trying to make sure I've got the other side down. Just like that, so we can keep the end in place. Okay, now I can go ahead and fluff this side out. I'm going to go ahead and take this, because this is part of the Deco mesh underneath, and make sure this will fan up the other direction. So our bow's going to go here. So I can move my Deco mesh around Santa's sign. And I'm just pulling the mesh from the edge, like all these edges, not the center Deco mesh. That stays down to support our sign. This is going to do the same thing. And same thing. Oops. That'll go over there. Pull these forward. Let's get our bow in. So the bow's going to sit here. Okay. Now I've got to position my loops. So I just want this grazing the corner. Because I feel if we go the opposite corner, then we're going to end up taking out part of his face. So let me see if we can get this in. Okay. There we go. I'm going to pull that down, not too tight. And what I want this to do is those 2.5-inch loops, I want those to be a side frame and a top frame. And then everything else to cascade up, over, and then down. Like so. And now we can finesse this side a bit. So I can pull that so he can actually sit flush down. And we'll refluff all of our exterior pieces that have all been smashed by putting everything else in. Oops. Let's get this one open a bit. Let's get, I need the magic key to stay up on top. Re-fluffing, re-fanning all of our ribbon pieces, just like so. Okay. So like I said, taking all my inside pieces, making sure those don't intrude. I'm just going to give a little bit of play in that where I have it secured at the bottom. So it's not like super, super tight, but that it'll lay flat. I almost want to take this and push this down though. And I don't want to glue it. Gluing would satisfy the whole problem right then and there. Let me see. Let's see if we can move Santa over just a smidge. So let me undo this, because I only had that one twist. I'm going to just move him over just a smidge. So I'm going to pull him more to the left by one space. And I'll move this over so then the key can lay more flat. Okay, floral wire. Anytime. I gotta find the right leg to pull. There we go. So that now that lays more flush. There we go. Now we've got it. Now he lays flat. We just had to move him over a bit. But that's where we're at. So let me look at what we have here. Because sometimes we get a little too much going on. Like I feel like it's just a little bit by half. So I'm going to tuck. Bring these up. And then right here, we're going to bring this around and let that be the fluff. Because we don't need like 15 pieces of Deco mesh all bridging out in the same general direction, just a little bit. Let me there's so much. Okay, let me fix ribbons, put it up on the door and see what it looks like in all its gorgeous glory. Open, open, open. Open. Let's put a big, I think we'll put a, I might put a big red ball in the center. We could put a green one in too. Like, we can put red, or we could add green. Oh, I really like the green. There's green. There's red. I think I'm going green. So I'm going to pop that right in the center. That kind of ties the green in to everything we have. Here is our key, our little Santa key. I'm going to just lightly pull some of my mesh in and around right here. Not too much, just right there. I'm going to pivot you up because you guys wanted to see the other wreath. Oop. Okay, let me go a little bit taller and it'll settle. Okay, so this is that ribbon I was telling you about. The only ribbon that exists anymore is this ribbon here and this ribbon here. This exists and this exists, but like the Word of God doesn't exist anymore, and Christmas begins with Christ does not exist anymore. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of this stuff has been discontinued. So, and it's not because of the tariffs. It's just, if you think about it from a ribbon company's perspective, they don't want to keep making the same ribbon over and over and over again, even though for us, this could be the first time we were ever seeing it. So yes, this is available in my shop. Find that on the Etsy shop or website. Let's put this one up. What a difference. Two totally different color palettes. Okay. So now, and the thing that I like about this is that the ribbons right here keep the key in place. So again, make sure you can see all the ribbon, all those pieces that you put in place. Make sure glue threads are gone. Those show up in images and you might not realize it. And it also helps you when your wreath sells. You can really quickly then just box it up because you've already done all your quality control checks, making sure everything matches where it's supposed to be, just like so. And oops, sometimes you just feel a little too short. Okay, grab this one. Okay, there's our Santa. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see him. Right there, I think. Aw, thanks, Renee. She says, you've created another beautiful wreath. Love the green. The word ribbon is pretty old. It is. It's been around forever. So, what questions do you guys have that I can answer for you? There we go. That's our Santa design. So, whatever you want to see, you can bring some of your ribbon up. You can split these more if you want to see more of your Santa sign. You can bring some of your loops up a little higher. Gravity does wonders on all kinds of things, but that's all I have. So I think next week we are going to go no Deco mesh all next week. We're going to go all natural. So we're going to see some evergreen, not like evergreen artificial greenery, but evergreen, really nice greenery put together in a design, and some other things. I've got some other surprises that are sitting here I'd like to show you, but I can't. So I will see you next week. Don't forget, Tuesday, we're back. Tuesday at 4, because he's done with all his medical stuff. So Tuesday at 4 Pacific, which is 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then Thursdays at, I'm trying to think, 2 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern time. That's all I have for you guys to do. I guess you can't put a fake Coca-Cola bottle in there. He does look like the Coca-Cola Santa, doesn't he? No, because then that's licensed trademark unless you did it. Like if you found a sign and you did it as a custom order for a client, Cheryl, you could get away with that, but you wouldn't be able to put one in there and then list it for sale. Okay, guys, that's all I have for you for today. Thanks for joining me.